Hello, everyone. Today we're joined by Christina Chu. We have a little fun guest today for you guys. Christina is a Chicago-based sports dietitian and CEO of Christina Chu Nutrition LLC. She supports athletes from youth baseball to professional combat athletes through individual nutrition counseling and team talks. She has worked with a wide variety of sports teams on a variety of different levels of intensity from youth to professional, alongside working with a wide variety of very reputable brands. And to say the least, she has a very impressive resume and portfolio.
She earned her bachelor's degree and master's degree in clinical nutrition at Boston University and has had past sports nutrition experience at IMG plus Boston University Athletics and the UFC Performance Institute. And today she is chatting with us all about time-saving tips and budget tips for grocery shopping, meal planning, meal prepping. Very tangible, amazing takeaway tips for you guys. We cannot wait for you to hear it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome, Christina, to the Up-Beet Dietitians podcast. We're so excited you're here.
Thanks, guys. I'm so excited to be here. It's been a long time coming, but here we are.
Here we are. We're so excited. And today's topic is going to be hella relatable. Did I say hella? What is wrong with me? I've never said that once.
I've never heard you say that before.
I have never once said that. That was so weird of me.
You were like so nervous that I'm here. Then you're like,
I know. Christina like brings out this new version of me. I don't know what's going on. Anyway.
I'm taken, but thank you.
Are we flirting on the podcast?
Yeah.
Today is going to be a very relatable podcast episode for you guys, talking all about like grocery shopping and doing so on a budget, things we know that you guys always are loving to learn about. But before we get into the juicy stuff, Christina, let our listeners know like who you are, what do you do for work, what's your education background, all that good stuff.
Yeah, my whole resume. So, my name is Christina Chu. I'm based out of Chicago. I'm a sports dietitian, and I own my own private practice. And so I see athletes from all different levels, but from youth to professional, across all sports, all genres, if you will. And I mean, I resonate so much with you ladies of just making fueling so much accessible, and really shifting that mindset to how do you fuel your body for performance, using the foods that are available to you. So that's why I'm super excited about this episode today. I did my schooling out in Boston at Boston University for both my master's and my undergrad and my grad school. I don't know why I did that backwards. No, I'm all flustered. And I did my dietetic internship also out in Boston, with doing a little stint at the UFC Performance Institute in Las Vegas, which was a hoot. And then moved back to Chicago. So I've been here, and my practice has been open for about 4 years or so. We're coming up on half a decade, which is crazy to think about. And yeah, so just a little bit about me and who I am as a dietitian.
Dang. So you were East Coast, then West Coast, and then you've planted right in the middle after all of that.
I was in Vegas for not a long time. So
Okay.
I would never really say I'm a West Coast girly, honestly. I feel like I just have those Midwest roots, but I am also secretly an East Coaster.
It kind of like bleeds over to the right a little bit. Yeah.
It really does. Yeah. I mean, I have a sense of urgency, but there's also like a kind of politeness that needs kind of really that's where the East Coast kind of sets in. It just honestly comes out when you're driving or when you're commuting or in my case walking. You're just more assertive. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, how fun and how perfect for this episode, really, because they're here to learn how they can save money but also fuel themselves well with nutritious meals. So let's get right into it. Food has become expensive and groceries have become, like in general, living has become expensive, but especially groceries.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, when people say they want to eat healthy, but it's too expensive, what do you have to say for that right off the bat?
Yeah. I mean, in the wise words of Hannah Montana / Miley Cyrus, like life is what you make it. So let's make it rock. I think it really is about perspective. Like you can make it really expensive if you want to. The consumer market, like you know, if you want to pay more for your groceries, you can. Like, there's plenty of way. Like, if you're asking to give more money, like, they'll take it. But there's also ways for you to just be reasonable and shop at a more accessible way too. So I understand the initial thought of like healthy eating is expensive just because of my like maybe what you see online. But when I really work with my athletes and my clients, I try to shift that narrative of like the things that might be right in front of you that you might not perceive as healthy actually are and are affordable as well. So it really is about perspective in that case. But I'll always remind people like, I think there might be like a misconception of like, oh, dietitians, like we get food for free. Or like, I don't know, like once you become a dietitian, like you don't have to pay for your food, or like we suddenly spend so much money on our food. Sure, there may be people who are like that, but like I'm definitely a savvy shopper. I've always have been and always will be. And so like I don't like I want people to understand as dietitians, like we are also experiencing inflation right there with you guys.
Big time. Big time,
Yeah.
big time. And I feel like even throughout all different types of economic, what's the word? I don't know. What's
The
the word?
climates.
Wow. Just like I can't talk today, my
Oh my
goodness.
God, she's so flustered. It's
I'm
fine.
still so flustered. What is happening? Um, but like whether we're in like an economic crisis, we have all this
Mhm.
inflation, or if it's like a better scenario, people are always going to claim that eating quote unquote healthy is so expensive. And I think it also depends on how you define healthy. Like if you're
Sure.
viewing it as like the wellness culture version of like your greens powder every single day, which is like $100 a month, and this other slew of supplements, and you're only going to Erewhon for your groceries, then yeah, eating healthy is going to be so expensive. But I like what you were saying about it just depends like where you're shopping and like what kind of things you're buying for yourself. Because what you see online as like healthy, that is very expensive, truly, like, yes, it is confirmed, does not have to be like your version of healthy. And it could be much more accessible for you versus
Right.
the other alternative.
Right. No, I totally agree. And I think people are always shocked when I'm like, yeah, I shop at like our version of Kroger. Like I shop at Mariano's, right? And so like you don't go to the Whole Foods. I'm like, no, it's not like once you pass your exam, like you have to shop at Whole Foods now. Like that's not how it goes. And I look at the prices and that's really the main driver for me, honestly, is I'm like, I understand Whole Foods is an experience. It's like going to a spa. Like it's an experience just like everything in Chicago. Like this dining is an experience. But like for me, I'm like, I don't really care about the experience. I just need to go in, get my food. I'm not here to like hang out or
Yeah.
whatever. Like I just want to get in and go. So if that means it's also cheaper, then hell yeah, like I'm here for it.
And most things that people would buy are going to taste the same, whether you get the Whole Foods brand or the Aldi brand. Like talking about
I
like
bet it's even the same company too. I don't
literally,
know
yeah.
off the top of my head,
Probably
but I'm sure
is.
it's the same company.
If you're getting like canned beans from 6 different places, they're all
Yeah,
going to taste pretty much the same. So don't spend
so
four
true.
bucks on a can at Whole Foods when you can pay 89 cents at Aldi. Like that's just kind of
Ooh,
silly.
ooh, you knew those prices.
That
Like
was
you got
totally
the
just a
back of
guess.
your
I actually
hand.
have
I was
never even
gonna
been to
say,
a
have
Whole
you
Foods.
recently
So
bought?
I totally made all that up, but hopefully the point stands.
Oh my gosh,
Uh,
it's so funny. Well, so these people want to start. They now feel more comfortable and more safe that they don't have to go to Whole Foods and they can go to wherever they want for their groceries. What would you have them starting off with to like approach grocery shopping on a budget?
yeah. And I just want to clarify, this is not like an anti-Whole Foods like
We're
bit or
Whole
segment here.
Foods, like
Like no,
we
no
can still get
foods, you
gonna
along.
know,
lose
like
our Whole Foods sponsorship that we don't have. Christina, come on.
sorry. But Aldi's, feel free to slide right in.
Please.
I just want to clarify that. Like if you want to shop at Whole Foods, like you can do it. And there are ways that you can go about that too. I'm not saying I've never shopped there ever. Like it's just to hopefully bring some normalcy to like everyday everybody's grocery stores. But the main tip, the number one tip when it comes to savvy shopping is really one, planning your meals, which is a just general nutrition tip too. Like it's not just only economical, but it's also health related and, feasibility related too. So plan out your meals, right? And thinking about, okay, like what are some dinner options, lunch options, just keep snacks, right? Like what do I need to restock in the house? It's kind of like inventory. Like you almost need to take a little mini inventory of what you have. And that way we're not double buying. It's a classic case of, I forgot if I had mustard, so I bought it. And now you have 6 things of mustard. Wasn't there that one creator that did that where he was just like, look at all of these bottles of sauces that I have, and it's the same sauce. It's that same thing though. Like it's funny, but at the same time, like it is just money that you're spending that you don't need to spend. Um, so writing a list, like planning it out, what are your meals? What do you already have? And then even with the stuff that you already have, maybe there are some meals that we can make with that. So let's say if you already have, you use some celery for a tuna salad week 1, and we all know when you make tuna salad you don't do the whole thing of celery. Also, why can't they just sell us a couple stalks of celery for tuna salad? I
So
never
true.
understood that. But you have to buy the whole bunch, so it's like, okay, what can I make week 2 with celery because I still have it in the fridge? So like buying it once but using it many times I think can help reduce the overall cost of your grocery bill by just being more efficient. And then on top of that, now we're helping with food waste. So it's just like a triple whammy, if you ask me. So planning ahead really does help a lot. And I feel like if you listen to at least like 10 dietitian podcast episodes, they'll probably say something along those lines. Then my next step would be shopping the sales. So Kroger has like online digital coupons. I actually just recently discovered it, and it's been like my favorite game of going
Kroger's
to
the
the grocery
best.
store, being like, what's on sale? And then my like chopped-esque brain goes like, what can I make with these ingredients? Maybe that's just the dietitian in me being like, okay, these 3 obscure ingredients, like what can I make? You don't have to do that. I understand cooking can be kind of intimidating sometimes, but like even just thinking, oh, look, cauliflower is on sale. Like, oh, I can think of a really great buffalo cauliflower recipe. Like, boom. So thinking about the sales and what like digital coupons or paper coupons that you can clip in order to plan your meals out that way. I knew of a dietitian. I think she shopped at HEB, and they had something where like you could buy a whole meal ingredient list and all of that was discounted. So it was like
Mm.
if you were to do, I forgot what it was, but it was like a salmon dinner. Well, the salmon and the potatoes and the Brussels sprouts, like all of those were together, like in a section, and then everything was at a discount. And I'm like, that is genius because there's one thing consumers struggle with, it's thinking of dinner ideas. And so if the store already does that for you and you get a discount, it's like a no-brainer. So if anyone in here is in distribution, that's my free tip for you. But anyways, shopping the coupons and trying to figure out meals, I would say is my second tip. Um, and then third, this one is maybe a little bit kind of working backwards, but to buy in bulk if you can. So this might be shopping at a Costco or a Sam's Club, uh, and a Big Y on the East Coast too. But shopping at those wholesale stores can be helpful in reducing the cost down. You pay more upfront, but then you save more in the end. So if there's ingredients that you always use, I'm thinking pasta, like rice, potatoes, the staples, like going to the wholesale store will overall help you. So you're kind of running your own little kitchen operation. But if we're really concerned with finances, those are some great ways for us to kind of reduce the cost. So we're not paying for the packaging, really.
Yeah. And like with the wholesale thing, I myself in my own kitchen, it's just the two of us here. So it'd be silly to go to Costco every single week. So we'll get the
Totally.
things that we do eat in bulk and go there like once a month, once every other month. I think that's maybe a good tip too, is using different types of grocery stores for what your needs are. Like you
Mhm.
use your Costco for that once a month trip of all the basics, but then in between you're going to Aldi or Kroger for the things that you would need to like make the rest of your meal. I feel like a lot of people I talk to, like they just go to Kroger every single week and they kind of feel like they're in a bit of a rut in that way. And if that works for you,
Yep.
of course, go to Kroger every single week. That's totally fine. But it can be one of those things where you do mix it up and go to different ones if that helps you kind of get what you need and be able to, I don't know, kind of like do that inventory thing a little bit easier too.
And I think it also doesn't need to be like this whole production. I think it's very
Yes.
intimidating to be like, I have to plan out 5 meals a week and I need to know every single thing I need to make. That this is why we have those save folders on social media. When you see
Mm,
a TikTok recipe or whatever it is, you're like, I want to recreate that. This is when you go refer to that, or you saved a blog post and you want to try that. And just like setting aside like 5, 10 minutes once a week for that planning can go such a far long ways and make it so much less intimidating. Because like I think it is like, oh my gosh, I have to plan all these meals and all my snacks. How am I going to think of all these new ideas?
I'm not doing
right.
that. I don't know about you guys, but like
No.
even as a dietitian, like I'm not sitting down and planning out all my meals and snacks for the week. That's just not going to work out for most of our routines and lifestyles.
Right. I think for some people it helps, like that
Totally.
helps bring them peace and be like, okay, at least I know what I'm doing. And then they just kind of are mindless later on. But I think especially if you're like even a little bit creative or just have an inflexible or just kind of unpredictable schedule, you can. I always have like 1 or 2 days in my schedule. Like I'll write out my dinners and I'll have 1 or 2 days where I'm like, leftovers maybe or
Mhm.
going out to eat
Yeah,
or
frozen Trader
maybe
Joe's meal. Yeah.
frozen Trader Joe's
Yeah.
meals, like just winging it. And I think that's important to also program in there too, if you want to say it like that. But to also include in your meals because like life happens, right? And especially living in the city, first of all, we're so blessed to be like have exposure to all this great food. And I always think like, okay, yes, my dining out bill might be higher than normal, but like wherever I move next will not be as great as a city. So like I'm just gonna take advantage of
Yes.
it. But it's
Yeah.
also like you have to have those moments where you're like, you know what? Today I came home and man, the last thing I want to do is cook. And you have to like let these basically these businesses, these restaurants help you, if you want to, and have them cook for you basically. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Like, of course, sure, like let's try and eat more at home, but I think we don't want to go too far on the other extreme and have these unrealistic expectations to think we're going to cook every single one of our meals. I'm thinking about those meal prep videos where it's like
Mm-hmm.
7 meals, like blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, have these guys eaten their day 6 or day 7 meal? Like, we all
How
know
are
that
they
shit gets
doing at the
nasty.
Day
end?
6 chicken, I could not be paid to eat that. Absolutely not.
No, like it's just the texture's all off. Like, I mean, man, some people like I mean, I live to eat. Yeah, I live to eat. Like
Yeah.
it has to taste good, honestly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm really glad you guys both brought up the whole idea of the unrealistic expectations because I myself, too, when I hear the word meal planning or prepping, I initially, before I became a dietitian, would picture exactly what you just said, Christina, of like the Tupperware and the broccoli,
Mm-hmm.
chicken, and rice. And if that works for you, that's really, really great. But something I talk about a lot more now as like a anti-diet dietitian, I guess we can call it, is this idea that not every single meal that we eat is going to be like Instagram worthy or the most delicious thing in the world. Sometimes it's going to be some leftover like frozen pizza and like half of a bag salad or something. Like that was my
Mm,
lunch today, which is why I'm thinking about that. Like I had a
yeah.
little bit of bag salad left and I had some frozen pizza left over, and that was a quick lunch. And I'm gonna have a snack and dinner tonight, probably a little dessert, and like life goes on, you know? So I think that's really important to remember too as you're doing this, or like if you are setting goals for maybe more structured meal planning or prepping, is to adjust those expectations and remember that you don't have to like be this Instagram meal prepping influencer. It can be just the basics. They'll get the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also remember, like those who are influencers, it's their whole job to do that. They get paid
Uh-huh.
to make those pretty meals. So it's like
Yes.
you are probably not an influencer if you're watching those videos. So it's like you have to do your normal job. And so you can't do two jobs at once in that case.
Yeah,
Sorry.
exactly.
So
Maybe like feed your
it
family and stuff too. Like it may not be just
oh
you.
my
Like it's just
gosh.
not always
Yeah,
going to work.
totally. Totally. I agree.
Well, I think a big part of this too, along with like the money side of things, naturally is going to be the time saving tips as well. Because who has enough time for anything these days? And I feel like that's the other side of the coin when talking about quote unquote healthy eating.
Hmm.
So we've got price and we also have just limited time. We often may assume or believe with valid reasons that, again, quote unquote, healthy eating is very time consuming.
Hmm.
So what would you say to those people who have that concern or that fear of like, I don't have time to do all of
Yeah.
this?
I get it. I feel like I experience that a lot with my athletes, regardless of what level they're in. I mean, even nowadays, youth athletes are like crammed with the
Mm.
practices and tutoring and like so. I mean, how did we do that when we were younger? Honestly, I think about that a lot.
It's
We just talked about this yesterday,
like
Emily.
we deserved an award for
For
like
existing. Yeah.
juggling all of those things.
Like, how was my time management so good? How did I have so much energy and then go to practice and then like talk to people? It was crazy. No, but like the time piece comes up a lot, I feel like in athletics. And again, Miley Cyrus, life's what you make it, you know? So
It
like
applies to everything.
literally applies to I mean, so much good quotes that we can pull from Hannah Montana. But the big thing is letting the grocery store do the work for you.
Mm.
So the grocery stores also understand that people are low on time. And if that's where the consumers, that's what they want, they're going to provide, you know, like they are all about supporting you. So honestly, they still have business. And it's things like the bagged salad, as you just mentioned, Hannah. I had two of those in my fridge. Like literally,
A
we are
staple.
one of the same. Yeah, such a staple. The bag salads for sure. Rotisserie chicken, obviously.
Of
The tuna
course.
packets. I love those. Some of my athletes are like, this is like prison food. And I'm like, shut up, eat your tuna. Move on. We're all doing it. But it works. It's the chicken nuggets, you know, buying the chicken nuggets, keeping them in the freezer. It's the frozen salmon. It's the burger patties. It's the ground beef, like my favorite protein.
Underrated. Very
So
common, but it gets so
underrated.
much hate for what? It's
For
the
what?
best.
Yeah, they're like, there's fingers in there. I'm like, are you sure?
What? Okay, I have not heard that one from a patient. I think I would crack
Really?
up
Oh
if
my
I
God, people
heard
are like,
that.
they're grinding like other things in there that like aren't meat. You're like, gross.
I'm still gonna eat it
Oh.
though.
Yeah, I'm still gonna risk it. Let's be real. For the convenience. But like thinking about things like that, having Greek yogurt, eggs on hand, like it's doable, you know, and
Yeah.
having you know, like baby carrots instead of having to do your own, or at the grocery stores they'll usually have pre-cut fruit. Right by the pre-cut fruit, there's always pre-cut veggies too. So they'll like spiralize zucchini or whatever. Like everything is done for you. The frozen food section, cleaned and prepped. All you have to do is open the bag, and I love that. Um, Throw it in your stir fries, throw it in your soups, throw it in your air fryer. I'm learning now. Like you can throw it in so many different things. So like you can look for the options that are extremely inconvenient. I guess you could make your own pasta, but why not just buy it already pre-done? And that's just the convenience that you're paying for. Now, the thing is that I'll always disclose is usually if it's more convenient, it's more expensive. So you can have your cake and eat it too. So pick one. If you really don't have the finances, you're gonna have to spend more time food prepping. If you have more like lax finances, but seriously no time, then you're gonna have to pay more for it. And it's just whatever is up to that client and whatever their priorities are. So yeah, those are my tip for time. And then my last one, I don't know if we have like brand preferences here, but I'm just gonna go for it. I have discovered that the Healthy Choice Max bowls in the freezer section, chef's kiss, incredible. Frozen meals, I feel like as a millennial, you grew up with frozen meals being like absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
You're like meatloaf, like TV dinners. Like, I mean, I guess they were just not it back then, but I think they pulled an Abercrombie and just completely flipped the script. Like, they are nailing it right now because
Dang,
I
I
was
gotta
like,
explore.
Yeah.
healthy choice max. It's like a red box. It's a little bit longer. Usually I think it's like 30-ish grams of protein in there,
Wow.
but for the convenience of it, again, you're just paying for the price. I think one of those is just around $5 or something for a meal. But It's not super high in fat. There's fiber in there too. You're like, what? And it actually tastes good. I think they really nailed down the frozen meal section. And
Wow.
so I think we need to revisit that like we did with Abercrombie. So definitely don't sleep on that. Those I think are always good to just have in the freezer for those moments where again, you come home, and you're like, I don't want to cook, or you're like, oops, my chicken spoiled. Like, what am I going to do now? So that's always like a good plan B to have in your freezer. But the most time efficient of them all.
Speaking of frozen meals, did you guys ever have the what were they called? The kids cuisine?
Absolutely.
I just remembered those just now as you're describing the healthy choice ones. Why am I picturing like a penguin? Was there a penguin?
I think there
Absolutely.
was a
Yes, those
penguin.
commercials have
Yeah.
infiltrated your brain.
Okay. I have like all these little like clips coming into my like foresight right now.
Yeah, yeah. Kid
Wow.
cuisine, the nuggets, the corn, the mashed
Mashed
potatoes.
potatoes. Oh my gosh, memory unlocked. This is
I
crazy.
know. Were they good though? Like that's what I can't remember.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they were.
I don't think they were either, but they were on TV. So I was like, Mom, we need to get
We need
those.
them. And of course, we were not allowed to have them in my house. Those and Lunchables were like, mm-mm,
Yeah. Lunchables
Same.
were too expensive for us. My
same.
parents were like, we could just make Lunchables at home.
Exactly. Which, I mean,
They weren't
fair.
wrong.
They were not wrong. It's Ritz crackers, ham, and cheese. Like they literally were not wrong.
So funny.
Man. But I like how you mentioned the like you have to decide
The give and
like
take.
You can't have
the
your cake and
price
eat
that
it
comes
too.
with
Yeah,
convenience or putting a little bit more time aside to prep food. Like
right.
that's the biggest thing you kind of have to figure out. Like, where are you on this spectrum?
Exactly. Yeah. And
So
I
true.
think that's where sometimes the barriers in our head can creep up of I don't want to eat healthy, like I can't afford it. It's like, okay, well, here's some cheap, more affordable options. Well, like they're gonna cost more money. Okay, well, like here's some more like, some time saving options, but there's always something that can come up. And so it's like, well, we don't live in a perfect world. Like, let's do anything. I'm sure you guys get this too with clients. Like, let's just try anything at this
Let's
point.
try
Like, try
something.
something. I don't want you to walk away and just do the same thing. Like, try something new. I'm actually begging you, please.
I feel like what comes up a lot too, though, is the whole processed foods argument. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, convenience foods are just so bad for you. But we've just described like so many options
Yeah.
that can be included that are highly processed, but they're going to get the job done. They're going to keep you fed. They're going to be hopefully in your budget, perhaps.
Yeah.
So I think that's a whole other podcast, of course. We've
Oh,
talked
yeah.
about it a million times, but the processed foods are not the bad guy. They can help us feed ourselves. And that's what is what most blah, blah, blah. That is what is most important is that we are fed.
Absolutely. I think it's like if we didn't have those processed foods, I mean, how are we supposed to feed this many people?
No one can like Nara Smith their way through life if they're not actually Nara Smith. Like that's not
Yeah.
possible.
Also, Nara
Yeah.
Smith has help.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
she does not keep up with that either. So we don't
Yeah.
expect you to.
You don't need to be a homesteader. It's okay to get the bagged salad if that helps you eat some salad.
You guys, I'm so excited to eat that
Why are they
salad.
so good? I would rather eat that than like when I make myself. For some reason,
They're
like
always so much better than a
There's
the
homemade salad.
crispiness. Yes, agreed.
yes.
I think it's honestly, you guys, I am so like this is my soapbox. I'm so sorry to hop on it, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I don't think that lettuce belongs in a salad. Lettuce always makes it soggy and gross, but like the cabbage, like the salad mix, the bag salad mix, the cabbage, the carrots, whatever else is in there, salad is just meant for the toppings.
So true. And like I
It is
would
a
choose
vehicle.
like, have you guys seen the dense bean salad trend going around?
No. What is that?
Oh,
Dense
it's
bean.
basically variations of like cowboy caviar, essentially.
Yes.
People will do
Slay.
like a feta cheese version or ones with like peas, whatever.
Ooh,
But like that's a salad and there's no lettuce in it. And it's so much better than a salad is going to be.
so true. Like salsa's a salad.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on, you guys. It's just great, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like, lettuce does not belong in a salad. I mean, I'll still eat it, but it's never as good as the bag salad mix. And
No.
just the
Yes.
novelty of just opening that bad boy and be like, I didn't have to wash or cut or prep a
Just
single
dump it into a
thing.
big ass bowl and dive in.
Oh, Then you like add your own. Wait. You like add your own things to it. So like add giardiniera to mine. So like hot peppers.
I mean,
Oh
speaking of
yeah.
chicken nuggets, like I'll air
Oh
fry some of
my
those bad
Yeah.
boys, dice them up.
gosh. Yes. My
Amazing.
boyfriend's from Pittsburgh, and one time he was like, "Man, I'm really craving a Pittsburgh salad." And if you guys don't know what a Pittsburgh salad
I
is, it is
don't.
just like a normal, like it's the lettuce. It's Pittsburgh, let's be real. Like the lettuce, the carrots, the cucumber, like a garden salad or
Garden
whatever.
salad, yeah.
Ranch dressing, obviously, and French fries on top.
What?
Because I
I
love
know.
the idea of like the whole Caesar salad and French fries, like girl dinner
Yeah.
kind of thing. That sounds really good.
Yeah, but they put French fries on top of their salad, and I'm like, that's the most Pittsburgh thing I've ever heard of. But like we did it on our own, and I was like, this is amazing. We
Wow.
should all do this. Now I'm like, should we do tater tots in a salad? Like
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
my brain is going.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
I have done like leftover like roasted potato chunks, like throwing those in a
Mm-hmm.
salad. Amazing.
Mm.
Potatoes and pasta and salad also are just so good.
Oh my God, I'm drooling.
Even no starch, like throw some quinoa in there, throw some like orzo. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God. Something about little grains, little pastas,
I
little
saw someone
grains.
make a
Oh my
TikTok the other
God.
day. I forget who it was. I think it was a dietitian. She's like, I want to be able to eat my salad with a spoon. Like, I want it to be so finely chopped up in like
Okay.
micro bits that I can just like spoon my bites because I don't have to worry about big
Wow.
lettuce chunks. I was like, yes, snaps to
We're
that.
horses. Like we literally are horses. That's cool. I love it.
I love that for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my
Well, I
Uh,
think those are all of our like big questions. And you gave so many amazing tips. Before we get into our bonus question, though, is there anything else that you would want to tell our listeners? Any other tips that we haven't gotten to, or do you feel like we've kind of hit the nail on the head today?
I feel like we've honestly hit the nail on the head. In the end, like don't put that much pressure on yourself. Like you're able to feed yourself. That's awesome. Like we are so fortunate to be able to say that, to be able to live in a first world country, where the biggest thing that we're trying to decide is like the flavor of salad that we want. There are people out there who don't, can't access protein and can't access these foods or clean foods. So, whoa. I mean, clean foods by like literally not being dirty, not like
Yes.
clean, wellness
Yeah.
clean.
For a
Hold
second,
on.
yeah, I feel like my body did the like
Oh.
screenshot thing.
Oh my gosh.
Jump
I literally
scare.
meant
But
like
like
we were able to wash
legitimately
it in
clean.
clean water. Pause. Hold on just a second. But like, yeah, I mean, we're so fortunate for this to be our big issue. So like in the grand scheme of things, you're able to feed yourself and or your family. Like you're doing a great job, sweetie. Like we are all trying our best. So I think sometimes, especially in this health and wellness space, there's just so much pressure and expectation. But you're doing great. You're listening to this podcast. You're getting some tips. Like maybe apply one of them, and you're already doing great. So that's really just it to end things out.
Perfection.
Amazing.
Yeah, Emily and I
Well,
always say that we live on a floating rock. Like it's not that serious. If you ate
No,
today, you're doing great.
literally, that's it.
You're doing great. Well, we're going to get into our bonus question in a minute here. And our topic today is more grocery store chat. So if that's your thing, hang out over there on Spotify. Before we go, though, Christina, let our listeners know where they can find you if they want to follow along and learn more from you.
Yeah. So you can find me at Christina Y. Chu on Instagram. I do not have a TikTok. So that's my one hill I'm going to die on. I'm going to die on a lot of hills, let's be honest, but that is one of them. And my website, ChristinaYchu.com for basically everything. So if you're lost, you can always go there.
amazing. We'll link all of that in the show notes. But thank you so much, Christina, for coming on. I know you're
Thanks,
not
guys.
leaving us yet because we have our bonus question.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm
But
ready.
this was so fun. I feel like everything we talked about today, people just like need to hear it. It's
And I'll say it.
it. We're glad we have you here to say
No problem. I'll do it. I'll
it.
be the enforcer.
Yeah. But it was so fun having you on, and we cannot wait to share this with everyone.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, we'll see you next week.
Bye.